welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast. And this is our last podcast for the year 2025. The year has just gone by in a flash. We've had so much fun. But today we're going to talk about the highlights of the year, some of the amazing things that have gone by in 2025, the highlights of the podcast, the things that went really, really well. And we're also going to share with you new initiatives for 2026. We're shaking things up in 2026, doing things a little bit differently next year. Let's jump into the podcast, shall we?
The Joinery Business Podcast is sponsored by MaxCut Software. MaxCut is a small software business focusing on the cabinetry industry. Their main purpose and goal is to empower cabinet makers to estimate, cut, and complete cutless jobs more efficiently and easily without breaking the bank. Visit the MaxCut Software website linked in our description to try the free community edition of MaxCut Software to see what MaxCut can do for you.
Right, so 2025. Tiff, you've got the stats in front of you there. What's one of the standouts?
The standouts, interesting. Okay, so we actually had Brad Cairns and Lynn Thompson from Quantum Lean on the podcast, which was a great podcast. We also had an amazing YouTube version of that podcast as well, and that was an amazing one.
Brad and Lynn from Quantum Lean. Yeah, I remember
Quantum Lean.
Yeah. And, they're amazing people in Canada, kind of doing the similar thing to what we're doing, only more focused on the factory.
Yeah.
One thing I remember from that podcast, I was talking to Brad and I said that everybody's lean to a certain degree. So you're not either doing it or you're not, you're just to what degree are you? And that was a real sort of a turning point in that episode. We've had a few conversations about that since, so
yeah,
it's a bit of a standout.
I think that was the standout of that episode. It was a big kind of conversation around lean. Because I think you and him both believe in lean, but it's very different perspectives. I think that was the kind of key thing in that episode. Can you remember what Brad's perspective
was?
Well,
I don't think we necessarily have different perspectives, but we have everybody who takes on different approaches, different methodologies, but we all are focused on achieving the same outcome.
Yeah.
And that's great when you do things differently, but one way is going to get the same outcome. It's great.
So another popular episode early on in the year was the importance of making business fun, which I actually think was a really important episode because we can be bogged down in the day-to-day. And I think the business owners that we deal with can often feel fatigued and stressed and sort of get into it and think, oh God, I don't want to have to deal with this today. And the reason that they went into business in the first place, it gets pushed aside and they kind of forget about it in all of the stress and fatigue. So I felt like that was a really good episode.
It's so true. If you're going to start a business, you start a business because you want something that's going to give you a better life in some way than being an employee. Or you want to create a better environment for your employees than other employment situations. And often it's both, right? Certainly for me, running this business, I want it for myself, but I also want to create an environment that everybody that works at the Joinery Couch is actually having a great experience as well. That's really important. And sometimes business owners lose sight of that. It's like we just get so caught up in the negative and the fixing of this. And it is easy to kind of go down that slope, isn't it?
It reminds me of the meme of the finger pointing, that guy like, you're not doing the job appropriately, or you're not doing it good enough, I can do it better. And it's just like, wow, culture. You need to really look at the culture of your business and know that it actually starts with you.
Yeah, I think it's a big insight into business owners, making sure that the business is also fun for their employees, I would say, as they get bogged down and just making sure they get the job done and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think business culture gets pushed to the side quite a bit.
That's not the case here at the Joinery Coach. we love our jobs. No, we really do. We love being here.
Because I've got friends in the joinery industry, and it's that kind of thing of not enough effort is being put into the culture of the business. So I think it's an important thing to make sure that the business is fun to be at.
Agreed.
Speaking of fun, there was an episode that you and Reilly did for April Fool's where you did a movie review.
We did.
What was that all about?
Yeah, it was good. I think the two movies we picked were horrendous. I think that was the biggest thing. I think we should have picked more popular movies.
that was the point. It was Where the Buffaloes Roam.
Yeah, that was it. You picked Where the Buffaloes
Worst
Roam.
Bill Murray movie ever made.
Yeah, and can you remember what I made you watch?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was some like Disney-esque kid horse family bankrupt farm weird movie.
Your classic, our horse's farm is going bankrupt Disney movie. Yeah, I made you watch Horse Sense.
Horse Sense, yes, that's it. Yeah. It was equally bad.
I think should that be an April tradition to do an episode like that, or what do you reckon?
I think so. Yeah. Why not?
Perfect. We'll pick better movies, I think, because I don't think either of those movies were funny enough to talk about.
No. Didn't really get an audience around them, did we?
No.
I think 18 people in total watched the movie I gave you.
Probably in the history since its release, yeah. I mean, Horse Sense is a timeless classic, but...
So at around episode 17, you had another guest on the podcast, and that was Joel from the Australian Institute of Professional Coaches.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and what does this have to do with the joinery and cabinet making industry, right? That's the big question. Well, it's a really good example of how good education can really help. So Joel runs the Australian Institute of Professional Coaches. And the reason that I wanted to have him on was it's a good demonstration of our industry often talks about these cowboys that come in, like business coaching gets a bad rap because there's a lot of people that are out there just to sell a program. We're going to be your business coach, but what we're actually selling is this program for you to use. And they get residual income from you using that program. Whereas the Australian Institute of Professional Coaches is an education-based entity. And I went through their program. I think I took 2 courses with them. Their purpose is education and teaching you how to be a business coach. There are no programs that they're on selling after that. It is purely education. So I wanted to make the point that when someone is looking for a coach or a specialist of any kind, be really particular about their skills and their abilities that they've obtained over the years. I'm a certified coach from XYZ Business Coaching Academy, blah, 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 and I'm selling a pro. That's not impressive. But if you do have somebody that's taken training and education for the purpose of getting better at what they do, for me, that was why I went to them for my coaching education, because they were really there to, and still are there to teach coaches how to be good business coaches. It was a fun episode, and he purchased the business a few years ago, and he's taken it to new levels, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
Very cool. Another popular episode, which I also really enjoyed, was having you in your own factory here in the barn, talking about jigs. It was called Show Us Your Jigs.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that. That was because Reilly, you filmed.
Well, Reilly, you
the
produced
bulk
it,
of
so
that.
you tell us about why that was so fun.
Well, it was just a silly little thing we kind of shot on a whim, I feel like.
And the last but not least, the pizza ristance of my jigs. I
think I came over, on Thursday as I usually do, and what do we shoot? And what if I just ramble about jigs for a while? you went around and plucked all the jigs or jig-related things off the shelves, and it was just a fun episode. We set up a camera, and then I shot it on my phone like this. And
somehow a Friends episode came into the mix of things.
Yeah, because you kept saying the word pivot.
Yeah.
oftentimes you won't realize, but there's actually a pivot point in the corner of the square. Pivot! So that you can actually pivot this to spin it around.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, that was a really fun one. It was fun to edit and put together. It was pretty quick paced, so he was able to put in jokes and memes, and that was a fun episode.
It did really well on the gram as well of it.
Would you do more stuff like that in the future, you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Stay tuned as Bruce commits to doing more jig content.
Well, that kind of spun off of a segment we used to do years ago called Shop Talk. Mm-hmm. So we did jigs in Shop Talk.
That was it,
5 or 6 years ago. So there's a whole series of things we could do around shop language and shop talk.
Mm. Yeah, a few years ago we did one about ladder kicks, and I love the little niche stuff like that. I feel like we should look more closely at the niche elements. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I think to wrap up the overview of 2025, BSC, we can't move on without mentioning the podcast that you did at BSC and the time you spent at BSC.
But BSC has become a partner of ours, a really preferred partner, and it's been great going to their events. We've got more events planned for 2026. But just being at the event and mixing with joinery business owners and being able to run educational events to them was a lot of fun. If nothing else, it was a lot of fun just filling a room, and I think everybody was a little surprised. Business owners going to a machine supplier event, actually wanting to sit into a classroom for an hour and a half and talk about business stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody ever thought that they were going to do that. Yet, here we were sitting in a room with 50 business owners, like maxed out the room. And that was it's still a real surprise even to BSC that even happened. So obviously the success of that is going to carry into 2026, and we'll keep doing them until people tell us to stop.
Yeah. Once they stop giving us those delicious Italian baked goods.
So that was your takeaway from the event, right? The lunch?
Like,
Yeah.
what are you finishing that sentence with?
They had they filled out with $1 billion, like the catering was insane.
It was.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they
Went there, ran an event, put on 5 kilos, came home.
Top tier.
Yeah. So the second they stop supplying those, we're at the
That's
door.
the end of it.
Yeah.
So, what's on the agenda for 2026?
So 2026 is going to be an exciting year. We're going to have way more podcast guests. So 2026 is going to be a bit of a pivot for us.
Pivot! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
I can't wait to see the overlay.
So in 2026, we are going to pivot. We're going to change the format of the podcast a little bit to be much more interview focused, much more focused on interest pieces, having outside perspectives and suppliers come in.
Yeah.
We've teed up a few already that are going to be, on the hot seat in January and February, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to change up the room a little bit, change up the vibe and the look. But I think also what we're going to do is we're going to invite all of our listeners of the podcast, and this is a really big thing. Everybody that listens to our podcast, if you're subscribing, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you are a consumer of our podcast, we actually want to hear from you. What is it that you would want to see on this podcast that would light your fire? Like, what would be a really great interest piece? Who would be a really great guest that you could say, and don't hold anything back. If you have a guest that you think there's no possible way we could get on this podcast, like, if you have a weird old hero, like Paul Keating is your hero from way back, an old prime minister, like somebody like that. If you've got somebody that you say would be a great podcast guest, and I bet they can't get them, challenge us.
Yeah.
Paul Keating is very niche. I don't know where you pulled that from.
Just a weird name that popped into my head.
So it's right up there with Jeff Kennett.
Yeah, there you go. So there's another one. Maybe we could try and get Jeff Kennett on, but no, let's try and keep it useful.
Yeah, we're just looking to expand our perspectives. We want to give more of a rounded perspective rather than where previous years it was more introspective, giving our advice and pushing out our thoughts. We kind of want to hear more thoughts from the outside and try to kind of grow the industry in that way by kind of, pushing out everyone's different ideas and thoughts around the joinery industry.
Yeah, absolutely. We've certainly seen the growth of the podcast and the interest over the years, and I think now the next step is to have next level of influence, which is people outside of our world coming in and giving their 2 bits worth.
A big part of that, and I think the major announcement really is that next year we'll be focusing on episodes going out fortnightly rather than every week. This will give us more of an opportunity to expand the content. We'll be able to put a bit more effort into videos, have them maybe be a little bit longer in format. And the quality should increase massively because we'll be able to have more time to work on them and plan them out. And I think it'll be a really massive year next year for the Joinery Business Podcast. And we're looking forward to seeing how it evolves.
Plus, we're going to do way more on site with our clients, going through the nuts and bolts of what they're doing, their daily operations, which is of particular interest, right? Because we can say things all we want, but when you actually see them in place in another business, they're really valuable. So that's on our agenda for next year, doing that at least once a month. We're going to highlight one of our GPS clients, and do like a testimonial walkthrough expose of their business, which I think will be really, really eye-opening and interesting for a lot of people viewing the podcast.
Yeah, getting different layouts of people's factory floors and how they run them, and seeing how different business owners make use of their space, because some people have much smaller, much larger. I think, it'll be cool.
Yeah. So I also just want to have a big shout out to MaxCut Software, who is our sponsor this year. Amazing software. If you're running a small cabinet making joinery business and you're looking for some amazing software, check out MaxCut. Really, really good, solid software, easy to use, and really inexpensive buy-in. Like, it's actually free to use to begin with.
Yeah.
But also another announcement is we've just launched our Joinery Business Academy, which means that if you are not sure if you're really up for a coaching relationship quite yet, but you really do want to learn something about how to change something in your business and get better at what you're doing, we now have our Joinery Business Academy, which is listing a whole ton of little short mini micro courses you can jump on and just really ramp up your knowledge in business and get started on things.
No coaching, no commitment, small buy-in.
Yeah, just
inexpensive buy-in.
Just buy a course.
Huge
a lot
value.
of them are pretty cheap, and the thing to also remember about the Joinery Business Academy is all the content comes from our GPS program. So we're not in beta testing. All of this stuff has been tried and true and proven to work with literally hundreds of businesses already. So all of the content in the Joinery Business Academy is all battle tested content that if you just do it, you get amazing results. And there's also some free giveaways and stuff in there. So yeah, an exciting launch for 2025, the Joinery Business Academy. So from all of us at the Joinery Coach, the Joinery Business Podcast, and the Marketing Joint, those are our three entities that we've got out there. Have an amazing Christmas, have an amazing holiday, stay safe, decompress, but more importantly, look forward to 2026 and intentionally do something in 2026 that's going to improve where you're at in 2025. If you need some help, reach out to us, of course, but have an amazing holiday, and we'll see you in 2026. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.
Years. Big ears.